It's the Irish Thunder Pipes and Drums, part of the 15th annual Irish Heritage Night here at Citizens Bank Park. And the Phils could use a little luck of the Irish tonight. They've lost 8 consecutive games, including the 3 so far against the Boston Red Sox. And some of the numbers do tell the story as to why the Red Sox have been so successful. They've outscored the Phils, they've out-hit the Phils, but their bullpen, and they've been used a lot because of the 2 extra inning games. The bullpen has been fantastic. They have not allowed a run. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with John Kruk, and it doesn't get any easier tonight for the Phillies because Chris Sale, who is going to blow away the strikeout lead here in 2017, he'll take the baseball against the Phils.
Yeah, tough task for the Phillies. It's coming in struggling this game, like you said, lost 8 consecutive games. Chris Sale, one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, whether you be righty or lefty. But this lefty has 3 dynamic pitches. That unbelievable slider that he can throw to both sides of the plate against righties and lefties. He can throw that fastball 95 to 97 miles an hour. He can elevate it right there against Miguel Cabrera to get swings and misses. And he has a developing changeup that has become a weapon for him also. But he has struggled in his last 4 starts, T-Mac. And if there's any chance the Phillies have of getting him, they have to remember last year. They hit him around good in Chicago last year, and now struggling coming into this game. 1 inning, though, they tell us 1 inning is the reason why he's been struggling his last 4 starts. We have to find that inning and do some damage.
And the Phillies hope it's an awful lot of damage tonight as they can end this losing streak here tonight. It's the final game of this 4-game home and home. It'll be Sal making his 14th start. He'll be opposed by Nick Pivetta, who's making his 7th start here in the big leagues. He hasn't gone more than 5 innings so far. Well, the Red Sox defense coming into this ballgame statistically was one of the worst in baseball. Not so much these 3 games so far. They've been unbelievable. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Find your favorite model today. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, official bank of the Phillies. Visit citizensbank.com. and by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. Irish Heritage Night here at Citizens Bank Park, and a number of the dance schools from around the Delaware Valley were performing out on the field prior to the start of the Red Sox and the Phillies' final game of this 4-game interleague series. Yes, John?
This is a one.
That's right. Phillies are trying to end an 8-game losing streak. Freddie Galvis was out chatting with some of the bagpipe performers before the ball game. He was right in the middle of it. Chris Sale was warming up and long tossing while the whole celebration was going on.
Laser focus.
That's right.
Never bother anyone.
There's Tommy Joseph, who had laser focus last year against Chris Sale, hoping to have the same here tonight. And Sale is heading back in from the bullpen as he prepares for tonight's start against the Phillies. He has been dominant. Yes, his last 4 starts, his earned run average is high, but they are still 4-0. And the Red Sox, by the way, have climbed to within 2 of the Yankees in the American League East. Phillies, meanwhile, at 21-43, now 17.5 games back in the National League East.
So we're not really climbing yet.
Not climbing. Nope, we're not ascending at this point. We'll let you know when we start to ascend.
It's coming. It's coming soon. Hey, what better night to start than tonight against one of the best pitchers in baseball?
That's exactly right, and a beautiful night for baseball here at Citizens Bank Park. There's Nick Pivetta taking the field. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup, or Red Sox lineup, excuse me, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
It just feels like a Red Sox home game.
It does sound that way.
Noise.
Mitch Moreland is back in there batting cleanup for the Red Sox, hitting .285. Sandoval also gets a chance to start once again. He's batting 7th for Boston, and they'll face 24-year-old right-hander Nick Pivetta, who is 1-3 in the big leagues with an ERA of 5.52. And he's averaging about 5 innings per outing. In fact, that's the longest he has gone this year in the big leagues, is 5 innings. So they're looking to stretch him out a little bit more. Opponent's batting average a little high at .310. And the walks obviously are a little bit of a concern.
And against this team, you can't be putting guys on base without making them swing the bats. We saw last night what this lineup is capable of. And for Nick Pivetta, you got to figure out a way to keep Mookie Betts off of bases. And there you see the scouting report, 93.8, change curve, slider. All those pitches have to work against this powerful Boston lineup, who are swinging the bats really well, especially the top of their order.
Yeah, the top of the order has been red hot. In fact, across the board, you think about it. Mookie Betts 8 for 16 in the 3 games. Dustin Pedroia 6 for 17. Bogarts 5 for 15. Moreland 4 for 10. And Benintendi, all he's done is gone 7 for 13 in the 3-game series. So time now for our Nissan keys to the game. What do you think of there, Johnny?
Well, you can't chase against Chris Sale. We talked about it in the open. The high fastball, he'll try to get you to swing and miss. But the slider, that especially to the right-handed hitters that break down out of the strike zone, he gets a lot of swings and misses on. And let's go flashback to the last meeting. The last time the Phillies faced Chris Sale, they put a hurting on him. They have to remember that. They have to remember how they did it, and they have to execute that tonight against one of the best in baseball.
Yeah, last year he arrived at Citizens Bank Park with a 2.99 earned run average. He left with an ERA of 3.19. So here's Mookie Betts to lead things off against Nick Pivetta. Betts, as we mentioned, 8 for 16. And the first pitch is in there for strikes, so we're underway, and underway in a nice way. Betts hitting .280 with 11 home runs and 37 runs batted in. He has 34 extra base hits, which puts him among the league leaders in Major League Baseball. Since 2015, he is 3rd behind the hit machine, Jose Altuve.
And the guy that's going to hit 3rd in this lineup tonight, Xander Bogaerts.
Outside, 2-1. That was a close pitch that Jim Wolf said was ball. Thought maybe he would call that low, but he said outside. Jim Reynolds, the crew chief, is around at 3rd. Bouncer to 3rd, big hop for Maikel Franco. Well, that's a step in the right direction. One away.
Better start than last night.
Yeah, last night the Red Sox scored 2 runs in the first inning. They had 3 straight hits to begin the ball game.
Single to left, single to left, double to left.
And now Dustin Pedroia, who is 6 for 17 in this series. And Pedroia takes strike 1. That's a good location for that fastball.
Wow. Is it outside?
I guess it is. Let's see where Pedroia ranks since 2008. 1,561 hits. He has 1,743 hits overall. 1-2. 97 on that meter from Pivetta.
Talked to Terry Francona a lot about Pedroia, which they're like 2 brothers.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, they are unbelievably funny when they're together. Francona didn't think he'd be able to play in the big leagues. When he first got called up and he struggled.
Over to shortstop. Backhanded by Freddie Galvis. Well, the thing about Terry is that he'll admit that he was dead wrong.
Oh yeah. Well, good thing the Red Sox didn't listen to him. Stuck with him. He's done pretty well since then.
4 Gold Gloves. An MVP.
But this is a good start though by Pivetta. You know, they're hitting the top of the baseball, beating the ball into the ground. You know, he's not letting them elevate anything. Well, the first 2 hitters so far, a really good sign.
Xander Bogaerts takes a strike and it's 0-1. Bogaerts is 5 for 15 during this 3-game series so far. He's consistently been at 97 these last couple of hitters. He is 4th among American League hitters. Garcia had a big day again today for the White Sox. They won 5-2 over Baltimore. He just keeps on hitting. Off the hands.
Yeah, when he first came up with Detroit, you know, they thought he was going to be the next Miguel Cabrera. He dressed like Cabrera. He looked like he wanted to swing like Cabrera. Someone forgot to tell him there's only one Miguel Cabrera. And I think getting away from there, getting into the White Sox organization's helped him.
Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. That's a nice crisp inning for Nick Pivetta. He throws 12 pitches and sets the Red Sox down in order. Fastball's at 97, but how about the break on this slider? It had some pretty good movement on it. Bogaerts waves at it. We'll go to the bottom of the first. Mound for the Boston Red Sox. He and his 8-2 record getting a chance to face the Phillies for a second time in the last couple of years. Here's the lineup he'll face for the Phillies, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Yep, there's Daniel Nava with a 5-game hitting streak. He's done a nice job since Pete Buchanan's put him into the starting lineup. He'll bat 6th. Then it's Galvis Knapp, who's starting for the 7th time during the month of June. And then Nick Pivetta. And they will face Sal, who is 8-2 with an ERA of 2.97. 126 strikeouts and 91 innings of work.
Yeah, not bad for a guy who a lot of these so-called experts didn't think he would last because of a slight build. But the scouting report, average fastball 94.6, but when he needs it, 97, 98 can be in that repertoire. Change slider. Slider is devastating. Changeup is very good. Tough chore. Tough chore tonight for the Fightins.
Yeah, he has one of the highest strike percentages in baseball. And the first pitch he delivers to Odubel Herrera is inside. It's 1-0.
He got a big gun going tonight. That was 98.
Yeah, a little hot. A little hot.
A little warm.
Odubel hitting 248. 2 for 16 so far against the Sox.
Oh, that's. Bite my tongue on that one.
About the direction.
The point, yeah, the ball's outside. Pitchers love that. Umpires really enjoy it.
Chris Sale's rankings tied for 2nd in wins. Dallas Keuchel and Jason Vargas, of all people, lead the American League with 9 wins. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This is a contrast in 2 people right here. Chris Sale works quick. We know Odubel, besides running, he doesn't do anything quickly. Very methodical. And he's going to get a slider right here.
And he pops it up third base side. Sandoval on the run. He stumbled a little bit, and it's out of play. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Judy Farside of Vineland. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Judy will win $100. Introducing the new signature crafted recipes at McDonald's. I'm loving it. The lefty Sale against the lefty Odubel, and Odubel breaks his bat on the breaking ball. And it remains 2-2. Odubel's going to run right past the bat boy. He's got something else in mind. I don't know what he has in mind, but there's a specific bat that he wants. That bat looks like it's marked up pretty good too.
Might be the old BP bat. Probably not feeling real good about the swing so far. It's not ruin a good one. Or maybe he had a good round of BP and this feels good to him.
That one's into the sweet level. But it remains 2-2.
What? So far, pretty good at bat by Odubel.
Yeah, this will be the 8th pitch of this at bat. A handful of foul balls.
Yeah, and Sale's not one of those guys that John Farrell's going to look at. Okay, 90-something pitches. We might want to think about getting someone up. He'll go 120, 130 if they need it.
Fouls another pitch off.
I wonder if some point if Sale break out that changeup.
Would you say it was a work in progress?
It's a work in progress. It's still good, but compared to his fastball slider combo, and knowing him, the work ethic, it'll be a weapon here before long.
9th pitch of the at bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Herrera, and he foul tips it. Well, he went with the slider, but it was at 79 miles an hour. And one away.
A little bigger break on that one, and then the the ones he throws in the mid 80s. Watch where Leon is set. Look how far that ball comes. I mean, that ball starts behind Odubel and breaks out of the strike zone down and away.
Howie Kendrick is 2 for 11 lifetime against Sal. And he takes a fastball low. It's 1-0. Kendrick 5 for 15 during these 3 games. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's the changeup right there. Okay, so much for work in progress. It's pretty good.
I think all it has to be is down, and it'll be effective with his stuff.
The thing I know about him, he remembers what happened last year.
Kendrick fouls it back. Well, last year it was the beginning of a 3-game stretch in which he allowed 14 earned runs in 16 innings of work. It began here in Philadelphia when the Phillies beat him and the White Sox. Upstairs, 2-2.
That's the one right there. That's a tough pitch to lay off of with 2 strikes. That one that starts over the outside part of the plate, breaks down in at the back foot of Howie Kendrick. That's a tough one to lay off of when you're in swing mode.
Ground ball to third. Sandoval has it. Aaron Altherr is coming up. Altherr has 4 hits in this series, 2 home runs, including last night. This made it a 5-3 ball game.
Yeah, breaking ball got up in the strike zone. He hits it over the fence, and right there you thought, okay, we're back in this thing. And then you know what happened the very next inning. Mookie Betts leads off with a homer to make it a 3-run game, and they never looked back.
Yeah, Brian Johnson was the pitcher at that point. Johnson left with a shoulder injury. As Altherr takes a strike. Altherr hitting .286 with 11 homers and 36 runs batted in. 0-2.
There's that respect right there for Aaron Altherr. Change up, slow breaking ball.
And then a high fastball. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Chris Sale. Phillies did run 2 3-2 counts against him, but it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning. Here's that strikeout of Altherr, and we'll go to the second here in Philadelphia. State Farm combo, and we look at the combination of Mookie Betts and Mitch Moreland. Last 9 games for Betts, 394. Last 11 games for Moreland, 362. They've had 5 home runs combined. State Farm here to help life go right. One of the things the Red Sox have said is that they're trying to put Hanley Ramirez at first base every once in a while to give Moreland a little bit of a break. Although the way he's played, you may not think he needs that much of a break.
Yeah, and I'm sure coming to this ballpark, that's the last place swinging the bat like he has coming in. He would want to have to take a seat on, but again, Hanley has to get his at bats too. They know they're not going to win this thing, and if Hanley and Mitch Moreland, are one of them doesn't get to play as much as the other.
Yeah, Moreland's been a nice surprise. 285 with 9 home runs and 36 RBIs. He homered in one of the 2 games against the Phillies up at Fenway. 2 balls and no strikes. Ground ball through the shift and into center field for Moreland. And the first hit for the Red Sox. Well, the Phillies this weekend will take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. It all begins tomorrow at 7:05. Aaron Nola against Patrick Corbin. Then Saturday is a 4:05 first pitch. All children 14 and under will receive the W.B. Mason collectible truck. And then Sunday, it's Chevrolet Father's Appreciation Day. That Hawaiian shirt will be given out to men 15 and older. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com.
We're wearing those. Hopefully.
We're hopefully wearing those. We have a little issue with the sizes right now. I think we're going to be able to work it out, though.
They don't stretch?
I don't think they stretch, no.
As long as we get Murph's large, that's all we care about.
Mm-hmm. That's the issue right now. Outside, 1-1 to Benintendi.
I don't need something that's too big,
No, if you wore the extra large at this point, with the 28 pounds that you've lost, it'll be a night shirt for you. We don't want that.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm. 2-1.
Female viewership will go down drastically if Murph wears too big a shirt.
Don't want to cover up those guns.
TV must add 10 pounds on the arms or something. I don't see it.
That's right. Outside again, 3-1. Benintendi has an RBI in 4 consecutive games. This is a young man who had 30 hits and 14 RBIs in April for the Red Sox. He's the first rookie to have those kind of numbers since Fred Lynn, as he bloops that one foul down the left field line.
And Benintendi's considered a rookie this year?
Considered a rookie. So is Aaron Judge. Both are,
yeah.
Even though they came up last year.
Well, Benintendi played a lot more games than Judge, right?
I think he did play more.
What is that rule like? 50 games or over 50 games you're not considered a rookie or something?
50 games is one of the rules. Judge played 29. It's 50 games, and you cannot exceed 130 at-bats, or 50 innings, I should say, for a pitcher, and you can't exceed 130 at-bats. Plus, you can't be on the active roster for more than 45 days. As Benintendi draws a walk, it puts runners on first and second. All right, so Jackie Bradley Jr. now the hitter. .253 with 8 home runs and 27 runs batted in. On the inside corner, 0-1. Red Sox have hit into 70 ground ball double plays this year, which is the most in Major League Baseball. I don't know if Jackie Bradley is the ideal participant to do that because he does run well. The Phillies would love it at this point.
Love it, and they might need it.
Yeah. Tried to check his swing, but he went around. Second strikeout for Pivetta.
Yeah, you watch with Benintendi how Pivetta pitched him. Look like he's trying to pitch him careful. Jackie Bradley's like, you know what? I'm going right after him. And he went after him with the hard stuff. Got a late foul ball for strike 2, and then that elevated fastball that Bradley couldn't hold up on. I mean, you know, they're not hitting 1,000. So, you know, at some point you got to challenge them, but they will hit higher if you get behind.
Here's Sandoval. Odd that he would take a first pitch. He's been very aggressive with the first pitch. 38% of the time he takes a hack at that first pitch, but they smartly started him off with a breaking ball. And it's 0-1. 0-2.
Well, that's a nice pull-off swing right there by Pablo. We'll take one more of those. I mean, that head flew out.
All he needed was the helmet to pop off.
It almost did.
On the outside corner, strike 3 call. 3 strikeouts for Pivetta. Take a look at PitchCast presented by your local GMC dealers.
You get ahead 0-2. Throw one out there and hope. And wishes do come true.
Pablo shook his head a little bit. He was a little off according to PitchCast. We'll take it though.
At this point, the way things have been going, we'll take anything. Baby steps. Baby steps to get us where we need to be.
Thank you, Bob Wiley. Here's Sandy Leon.
Here's where you can't give in. You got to go. Keep going. You got 2 outs. 2 big strikeouts, and now you can't relax.
You can see the pattern though, or the objective of what they're trying to do. And it looks like they are trying to go away, away, away. Some of these hitters. Because when he's missing in that spot. Is there a thought of being extra careful with Leon because Sal's on deck?
You know, I think at this point, yes, 2-0. I don't think you don't necessarily have to challenge Sandy Leon. He's swinging. I would almost guarantee if he gets a pitch to hit, he's going to let it fly.
Leon is 2 for 7 with a walk in this series so far. And ball 4 will load the bases up. Second walk issued by Pivetta. Phils fans, is your weekend packed with plans? Well, no problem. Catch the game on your phone or tablet. Live stream every CSN game on the go with the NBC Sports app and csnphilly.com. All right, it's not the worst thing in the world that he walked him, because now you have Sal, even though the bases are loaded. Sal is not batted this year. He's 2 for 20 for his career. He had 1 hit last season. Well, that didn't look like a guy that only has 20 at bats during his career.
I've seen him hit a golf ball. He do some damage to a golf ball, but I don't think Pivetta's going to throw one on a tee for him. At least you would hope not. That
you would hope not.
I'm assuming that would be against the rules.
Certainly has a long reach.
Yeah, he'll get to that outside pitch.
Fouls another one off. Not necessarily surprised by the contact, but just the nature of his swing. looks fairly comfortable taking these swings. Mitch Moreland at third, Benintendi at second, and Leon at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Chris Sale.
I mean, sure, Sale learned how to hit at Florida Gulf Coast University down in the Fort Myers, Naples area.
A thriving campus.
Beautiful.
Dunk City has really helped their cause.
Yeah. Well, the baseball. Oh,
bouncer back toward the middle. Diving stop by Kendrick. Throws to first in time. What a play by Howie Kendrick. And he needed every bit of his body to make sure the Red Sox didn't score here in the top of the 2nd inning.
Unbelievable play by Howie.
Full extension, quick pop up and throw, and get Sale by a step.
Great way to finish up the top of the 2nd. Howie Kendrick, you want to see Napa know how this was knowing how to play second base.
Yeah, for a guy who's been predominantly in the outfield the last couple years, just moved back because of injury to Cesar Hernandez. What an unbelievable play by Howie. Look at this extension, the pop up. I don't care if a pitcher's run or not. Chris Sale was moving down the line and got him by that on that bang bang play to save a couple runs. And that's Napa know-how by the man Howie Kendrick.
That's exactly right.
I got to spend the day with Schmitty, so I got a little fired up about things.
Just barely got him. And you're right, he was moving up that first base line. He was trying to signal safe as he got past the bag.
Yeah, that's all foreign territory, though. He you know.
All right, so now the bottom of the 2nd. Let's see if the Phillies can use that to their advantage. Here's Tommy Joseph. Joseph, we mentioned, had a nice night against Chris Sale back in September. He was 2 for 2 with a double and a home run. And the first pitch is in there for a strike on the outer edge. 0-1. Oh, 2. Tommy has hit in 10 straight. Inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. One of the crazy things about Chris Sale is the fact that he's a dominant starting pitcher right now, but he had 80 games before he really settled into being a starter out of the bullpen. You look at it and say, what were the White Sox thinking? But you could see how effective he would be out of a bullpen.
Oh, you know, 1 inning, the velocity probably goes up to close to 100.
He already has 3 strikeouts. That gives him 129.
I can see Chris Sale being like a John Smoltz. You know, dominant starting pitcher. Down the road, become a dominant closer.
Michael out front, and it's 0-1. He starts him off with that changeup.
I might have been way off base with
the work in progress.
The work in progress pitch, because it's really good.
I think you were just putting it in perspective with his fastball and his slider. It's not at that level yet, but it's still pretty good.
Not yet, but just what hitters need, something else to look for.
Opposite way. That's a fair ball down the first base line. And it rolls toward the corner. Betts will get to it, but Franco pulls into second with his 10th double of the year. First base runner for the Phillies.
Well,
speaking of doubles, thanks to Odubel Herrera and some of the other Phils players, the double storyline, Murph, has been a positive one for the Phils.
You know, you're right about that, Tom. You know, if you look at the numbers from a year ago, through 64 games, the team had 30 wins at this point last year, just 21 this season. However, there are some numbers that are worth looking at and to be optimistic about. Batting average is up about 13 points. And you mentioned the doubles. Well, with that double, how about 124 doubles on the season? And the most games with the doubles, 58 of their 65 games, the Phillies have had at least one double. They have 124 total. If you count Maikel Franco's right there, that's second best in the National League. Only the Dodgers have more. And get this, that is 41 doubles more than they had a season ago at this time. So it doesn't always translate into wins, but offensively, the runs are up. Batting average is up about 13 points, and the doubles are certainly up significantly. So it is a reason to be somewhat optimistic about what the offense is doing.
It really is a drastic improvement from a extra base hit standpoint. Franco now is in double digits with 10. Tommy Joseph has 12. Altair has 15. And Odubel leads everybody with 23.
Didn't he have 20 on the last trip, it seemed like?
It did seem that way.
I heard people calling him O-double.
Yeah, he smiled when they said that.
Don't blame him.
0-1 to Nava. And 0-2. Yeah, I think the next step for the Phillies when it comes to those numbers is, you know, doing it with runners in scoring position a little more often. And, you know.
Yeah, doubles are great. 2-out doubles are great. Doubles with the bases loaded are a lot better. And that's, you know, I think that's the thing that's been missing with this offense, that consistency of getting a big hit.
Time is called. Ball goes back to the screen. Jim Wolf is hearing it from the Red Sox dugout. John Farrell's a little upset about how late that was.
Yeah, it was a little late. But, you know, I would imagine that that's not the first time this has happened to Chris Sale, because he's such a fast worker.
Swing and a miss, and Nava strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Sale. And Freddie Galvis is coming up.
Well, again, this is what we talked about with Chris Sale. The swings and misses he gets out of the strike zone, and that's a fastball, again, that rides up on Daniel Nava, up and away. And trust me, from a hitter's standpoint, that's a tough one to lay off of with 2 strikes, because it looks like a great pitch, and then all of a sudden it just seems like it climbs on you.
Freddie pops it up on the left side. Looks like Xander Bogaerts is going to make the call. And the Phillies leave one in scoring position here in the second inning. So both teams have opportunities to score, but cannot do it in the second. So that'll take us to the top of the third. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. John, the question is, who is the only pitcher in MLB history to pitch 4 consecutive postseasons for 4 different teams? I have to admit, I didn't know this. Answer will be revealed later in the game. It's recent, just so you know.
It's not recent?
It is recent.
Why'd you get the buzzer?
I didn't know it, so I got the buzzer.
This is going to take some thought.
Mm-hmm.
See in a couple innings.
Mookie Betts takes low. It's 1-0. On the inside corner, it evens up the count at 1-1. Betts has 11 home runs. 10 of the 11 have come on the road. He also has 26 RBIs on the road. Opposite way, on the run is Altair. It is a foul ball. Last night, Betts picked up his 6th multi-home run game as a leadoff hitter.
Hellickson fastball and then a breaking ball by Adam Morgan and deposited that one into left center. Pretty big night for Mookie Betts last night with those 4 hits.
8 for 16 with 6 extra base hits in this series. And he lines it right at Nava. That'll break his glove in. 1 out here in the 3rd. And now Dustin Pedroia. Dustin Pedroia is a lifetime .301 hitter, and among active players, that is 12th. The leader of the pack is Miguel Cabrera, who's at .320. 320 lifetime hitter for Miguel Cabrera. 2,700 hits.
And I'm guessing not a lot of infield ones.
Maybe early on in his career. Ball does jump off his bat when he was younger. Really jumped off his bat.
He's an impressive human being.
One and 2.
Oh, I got to get this stump the fan thing. I hate these things. It's like being back in school again, knowing you don't know the answer and you're going to fail.
I'll be that friendly teacher that helps you out. This guy is on the Red Sox, just so you know. 2-2 pitch to Pedroia and down low.
I'm running out of names.
Swing and a miss. 97. And that's 4 strikeouts now for Pivetta. 2 legends, 2 bobble figurines, 1 great offer. Toyota Mike Schmidt bobble figurine Saturday, July 8th. And the Toyota Pete Rose bobble figurine Friday, August 11th for all fans. Now we've got a special offer for you. It's $19.80 a ticket per game in honor of the 80 World Series champions. You must order both games together as a bundle. Go to Phillies.com/Toyota bundle for more information and to order tickets.
Do you think if you didn't read that as a bundle, people would think I can get one or the other? Because isn't a bundle like multiple?
Yeah, bringing it all together. I think some people probably still think they can get that rate for just the one. Altair at the track makes the catch. But I think the more information, John, you give folks,
I hear you,
the better. No runs, no hits, nobody left. Another 1-2-3 inning for Pivetta. Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. And by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for fast, free delivery? Nobody does it better.
just like this is Murph stuff right here, isn't it?
The bagpipes?
Yeah. Oh, Irish thing.
Murph, have you ever played the bagpipes or had a desire to play the bagpipes?
No, I never have. I haven't the desire to play them, but I don't think I have the talent to play them.
All
so
right.
Don't worry, Murph. You'll find something you're good at.
Here's Andrew Knapp to lead it up.
Keep looking. Just keep looking, Murph.
You are priceless. You know that.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. I think we could put a list together of things that Murph is good at.
I don't have no doubt.
I'd like to see that list.
Some of those things he won't be able to do for another, let's see, what's today's date? 15th? 1 ball, 1 strike to Knapp. Check swing. And Jim Wolf says he went around. And it's 1-2.
I don't like that. Ask. You know how many umpires I've talked to and they said we can't tell if it's a check swing or not because we're focusing on the ball. So, I mean, how tough is it? Like Sandy Leone even said, ask. It's not that hard.
I would agree with you. I think
it saves a lot of issues.
Because the point that you made about focus, they are focusing on the location of the pitch.
How can you see where the bat is coming through?
Slowed up that slider. 5 strikeouts for Sal. And 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. So he is on pace for 300 strikeouts. Now, his second half numbers during the course of his career have traditionally been lighter than the first half. I mean, every pitcher kind of tires. There's only a few that have gotten stronger as the year has gone on, but the real good ones do. And he's elevating himself to that point. But he has a chance if he averages, I think he's averaging 9.5 strikeouts per game. If he does that for the rest of the season, he's going to finish with over 300 strikeouts. Since 2001, as Pivetta is struck out, that's 6 already. Since 2001, only Clayton Kershaw has gone over 300 strikeouts, and he had 301 in 2015.
Against predominantly National League teams with the pitcher hitting.
Correct. That's a good point. He's doing it against the American League.
Yeah.
Active rankings, you know, he averages his strikeout per 9 innings is 10.27. But I think 300 strikeouts is one of those numbers. If you're a dominant pitcher, You can term it kind of a bucket list number because it just isn't done as often as it used to. When Nolan Ryan struck out 306 times, Randy Johnson did it 5 times. And Chris Sale may be on his way to doing it for the first time in his career. This was a 9-pitch, bottom of the 3rd. Deliver unmatched quality, and their Jet Intelligent toner cartridges print up to 1/3 more pages. Get yours from who but WB Mason today and experience the difference. Nobody beats WB on HP. Well, Ashburn Alley is kind of crowded tonight.
It's today Thursday?
Today is Thursday, John. A lot of Red Sox fans who are from this area or down visiting, getting a chance to see Chris Sale pitch tonight. Well, Pivetta has held his own. He's done a nice job.
Yeah, he has.
Starts off Mitch Moreland with a breaking ball. Moreland extended his hitting streak to 9 games with a single in the 2nd.
You know, I don't know. Pivetta must be doing something different. They haven't really. They've been late on all his fastballs.
There is a. This is the way he looked, I thought, after he settled down in Los Angeles. Popped him up off the 3rd base line. Long run for Franco and makes the catch. A good hustle by Michael. 1 out.
2 strikes it. The shift. A longer way to run because of the shift with Moreland hit. A little stick-to-itiveness.
Well, here's Benintendi. Benintendi is one of 9 first-round picks that the Red Sox have on their roster.
It's not bad.
That's pretty good. Not all theirs,
yeah.
but.
Or Price, right? Sale.
Yeah, the Nationals are the team that has the most. They have.
Don't they have 2 that were the first pick in the draft?
They have Harper and Strasburg. They have Zimmerman. Outside corner, 1-2. Yeah, Sal was the 13th pick overall by the White Sox. Price was the 1st pick overall by the Rays.
Yeah, I know the big news down there in Southwest Florida when Florida Gulf Coast beat Florida State, or Florida, I think, and Florida State. That was like crazy down there.
Down the left field line.
See, it's another one. You know,
So you're saying they're just not seeing
I just
it?
don't know if they're picking up his fastball or if it's he's got a little late life on it, but there hasn't been many really good swings off his fastball. And you would hope that Andrew Knapp and others would realize that, and you know, when in doubt, let that one go.
There you go. Just what you were talking about. 5 strikeouts for Pivetta. Decide which players you think are All-Star Game worthy by casting your vote through the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot on your computer, tablet, or phone. Vote today, vote tomorrow. Vote at Phillies.com/votes. And be sure to catch all the excitement from Miami during the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard. July 11th, live on Fox. Folks ask about the Phillies and who could go. Well, I think Altair. I think statistically, Neshek.
Yeah.
It's hard though for Altair. That outfield is so jam-packed with talented players. Any outfield.
Yeah, and you know, Joe Madden, Giancarlo Stanton is probably going to end up being there just because it's in Miami, and
maybe Ozuna.
Ozuna's having a great year. I mean, not that they don't deserve to go. It's, you know, Joe's he's crafty that way.
Yes, he is.
You know, but I'm sure he's going to want to take a lot of his guys.
Out toward the alley in left center field. Nava will close and make the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning again for Pivetta. He's retired 7 straight. Red Sox fans haven't seen a whole lot of offense. The Phillies fans are hoping they see it when we come back. Is brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Jefferson Health. Call 800-JEF now or visit jeffersonhealth.org. Irish Heritage Night here at Citizens Bank Park. It's the 15th annual Irish Heritage Night. And Howie Kendrick will lead it off. Bounced out the third his first time up.
Wow. Like how he thought that one was a strike.
A little questioning tonight with Jim Wolf. Randy's brother. So I think Jim said to Randy, this is why you should have been an umpire. He would have stuck around longer.
Yeah, they have more longevity. And I'm sure there's a lot of players that wish they didn't, but
not him in particular, but just umpires as a whole.
Yeah, jokingly, I mean, it was always, and I love Frank Pulley. Frank came back one year to spring training with glasses on. I'm like, Frank, what's the deal with the glasses? Wait, you don't want to wear contacts? He goes, never have. So my eyesight wasn't that great. I'm like, good to know now.
Here's Aaron Altair. Altair struck out his first time up. Seven strikeouts already for Chris Sale.
I think he's picked out Aaron Altair as a guy he's not going to let beat him. He's starting him off with first at bat was changeup, breaking ball, fastball, elevated, strike 3. And this at bat, it's breaking ball, changeup. Another changeup. Now you read that about him. He doesn't go to the scouting reports.
Doesn't go to the scouting reports and doesn't shake off his catcher at all. There's a fly ball to left field. Benintendi is there. How about that part of it? He doesn't shake off his catcher. Just doesn't do it.
Seems to be working. Maybe more guys should take that into account. But you know you have to trust your catcher too. That they've studied the scouting reports and the tendencies of hitters. And
Tommy Joseph hits it out towards center field, and that's going to drop for a hit. Tommy now with 3 hits against Sale. And now he's hitting 11 straight. And it's not odd to see him swing at the first pitch. I know we've talked about this, but he's a .421 hitter when he swings at the first pitch, and he does it often.
And you should, if it's a strike, especially against a guy like this. You don't wait around to get struck out.
Let's see if Franco can bring him in with 2 men down. There's that changeup. That's a pretty good pitch to a right-handed hitter.
Great pitch to a righty. And when you watch Franco's approach, we know he opens up his front side. So where's Sale going with the pitches? The breaking ball way, and now that changeup down and away. Off speed, he's committed. His hips are ready to probably a fastball, and there's no way he can touch an outside pitch off speed.
Almost got him to go after it again.
No. But give a pitcher credit. They have to be able to do it. Not a lot of guys, can throw their slider to both sides of the plate like Sale can. He's going to let him see a fastball up.
It's it over the head of Daniel Nava in the on-deck circle.
But I mean, you see that swing right there. I mean, it's to me, that's the best he can do with a pitch away.
Because he's opening up.
His hips are opened up and he can't cover it.
Daniel took another step over just to make sure he's not in the line of sight. Little tapper foul.
And you know he's been told. You know they've worked on it. It's everything that Matt Stairs have been talking about it. You see Leon trying to bait Franco into hearing something like him, probably possibly his feet moving inside, which you can hear, and then they go away.
With a breaking ball, 8 strikeouts for Sal. He has 2 strikeouts in each inning so far tonight. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We'll move to the 5th inning. And save money when you combine your home and auto insurance. Talk to an agent today or call 800-STATE-FARM. You could save hundreds when you combine home and auto. State Farm, here to help life go right. Pivetta starts the 5th inning. Pivetta has allowed 1 hit. Chris Sale has allowed 2. Pivetta has walked 2.
I mean, if you want to beat Chris Sale, this is what you need. You need someone to match him pitch for pitch, and so far Pivetta's been doing it.
You know, they've been trying to get him to slow down in between pitches. I don't think this is a rapid pace for him. He's quick, but he's not rushing.
Let's see, there's another one. Now Pablo gets ahead. You know Pablo has never met a fastball he didn't like to try to hit. And that was a fastball in a count where he's ahead in the count, and Pivetta threw a fastball in and he couldn't turn on it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's hiding it. There's another one.
Yeah, it has to be just the way it's coming out of his hand. Over to third, right at Michael Franco. 1 out. Time for our timeless moment. Here's Greg Murphy.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, yes, on this date, on June 15th, it is our timeless moment. 1991, right-hander Andy Ashby becomes the first and only Phillies pitcher of the century to strike out the side on 9 pitches. He got Hal Morris, Todd Benziger, Jeff Reed, 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. It was in the 4th inning of a 3-1 loss to the Reds. That is your timeless moment, presented by Coors Banquet. How about that? Perfect inning.
You know, somebody did that earlier this season, and now I can't remember who it was. There was somebody that did it against the Phillies. It's not easy to do.
No. That Andy had good stuff. But I don't think Andy was made to pitch in Philadelphia, because he struggled, be very hyper energetic, and wasn't a good mix. When he went to San Diego, he pitched great.
Well, Max Scherzer did it against the Phillies earlier this year.
It's not shocking.
Back on May 14th, toward the hole, just past Freddie Galvis-Leon as the second hit. It was the 5th inning. Cesar, Odubel, and Aaron Altair. And it's happened 4 times this year. Drew Storen's done it. Craig Kimbrell. That's not a shock. Scherzer and Jansen. How about it's happened 3 times this year in the 9th inning?
Closers.
Pressure's on. That ball goes right on by Sale and Knapp. Up to second goes Leon. And a wild pitch.
This is what's frustrating. I mean, he just pulled that ball and didn't give Knapp a chance. But that's what's frustrating, is they're giving you an out, and 2 outs, make a 2-out hit beat you. That, I don't know if they're going to let Sale hit now.
Well, he's taking a look at Brian Butterfield. He got robbed of that hit his last time up by Howie Kendrick.
And that's the thing with bunt defense right now the Phillies are in. He bunts that, he hits that same ball. It's a base hit and a run. But you see someone not adept at bunting, how he jabbed at that one.
He's adept at hitting maybe, but not at bunting. Swinging there, 1-2.
Tell me he don't grind things out. I mean, this is you see some guys that don't get the hit. American League, they've been in their whole career, and they it's fun in games and whatever. He honestly thinks he's going to drive Sandy Leon in here, and if he doesn't, he's going to be upset. I would absolutely love to play behind a guy like this.
He'd definitely keep it moving.
He works quick, he throws strikes, and there's not much nonsense that comes out.
Swing and miss. 6 strikeouts now for Pivetta. And 2 outs. Top of the order, Mookie Betts coming up. CSN has your new favorite podcast. From every offseason move the Eagles make to the Phil's next big hitter. CSN podcasts have you covered. Take your team with you wherever you go. Subscribe now on Apple, Google Play, or csnphilly.com.
I knocked one out today.
Just one?
Just one today. I'm going to get one tomorrow.
You want to give us a little insight on the topic?
Passions. What do you do when you're done playing? Golf is one, and music.
What about being a restaurateur?
Oh, I forgot about that.
That'll be tomorrow's podcast.
The art of the cheesesteak.
That's right.
I have to have some samples. I was just told I wouldn't be able to see him on the podcast, but I don't do things for others. I do things for me.
I was going to say, there's no reason that you couldn't at least have some samples with you.
People can tune in, listen to the podcast, and hear me sampling a cheesesteak.
I'll second the notion that you do that for yourself. There you go.
Ground ball through the hole, left side. Leon, the third. He's being waved home. The throw to the plate by Nava is in time. He is out at home plate. Daniel Nava took his time, stayed composed, and threw a perfect one-hop strike to Andrew Knapp, and the inning is over. Well, how about the defense for the Phils so far in this ball game? First Howie Kendrick, and now Daniel Nava. This remains scoreless as we go to the bottom of the fifth here in Philly. Park. Time now for a Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Mookie Betts with another base hit, but Daniel Nava. Leon is not the speediest of guys. Butterfield sends him, and Daniel Nava, perfect strike. Great catch, Andrew Knapp. Easy tag to get Leon and keep it a scoreless game. And that is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Two excellent plays tonight for the Phils. Chris Sale has finished up his warm-up tosses. Mike Buchalter was just talking to Jim Reynolds, the crew chief, a few moments ago. There is a fire alarm that is you could hear in the background here at Citizens Bank Park, and Jim was wondering if there should be a concern, as you would expect. The security guards were telling all the fans that everything is okay, that there must be some sort of a malfunction. Now Jim Reynolds is coming down because I don't know if Sale wants to keep throwing with this sound in the background, because there is an announcement that continues to be made about not using the elevators and walk to an exit in orderly fashion. Sale just said he's okay.
Hey, he's down on the field.
Well,
let's concern ourselves with us.
Well, Nava will lead it off. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Sal's probably thinking, well, you know, the sound in the background, maybe it'll help me to have even more of a distraction for the hitters.
Yeah, because he hasn't been very good.
He has 8 strikeouts so far. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, get back that last inning. Interesting send by Brian Butterfield, because Leon doesn't run well. Pedroia is swinging a good bat right now. You know, do you give him a chance with 2 outs?
Well, there have been now 28 runners who have been thrown out trying to take an extra base for the Red Sox this year. That's the most in Major League Baseball. They have this sort of thought that they will be overly aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the alarm has been deactivated, and all is better. Swing and a miss. 9 strikeouts.
Well, throw that slider down in the zone, the changeup, and elevate that fastball. It's 3 lethal pitches, and you can see how hard it is to stay off of that high fastball. Phillies hitters have swung through it a few times today.
Freddie Galvis takes a strike to the knees. Chris Sale has 43 double-digit strikeout games. As Galvis pops this one up for the second time, Bogarts over at shortstop makes the catch. Remember earlier this year he had 8 consecutive games where he struck out 10 or more. We were following number 9, finished with 9 strikeouts that day.
I'm assuming he's probably going to get it here.
Not now, but eventually here.
10 strikeouts in the game.
I think he's going to also.
Thanks.
The way things are going. Little tapper foul. It's 0-1.
I mean, unless John Farrell wants to get the bullpen some work. But
they've been scoreless throughout the 3 games.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what you want to try. Just do that. Be a new strategy. Either that or he doesn't want to keep his job. One or the other.
Sandy Leone just took a piece of that foul ball. To Andrew Knapp. Boy, nice one-handed grab in the upper deck. Boy, it has turned out to be a gorgeous day and night here in the Delaware Valley. Take a picture. 0-2 pitch to Knapp. A tapper back to the box. And a 1-3 put out. That's a 10-pitch 5th inning. We've played 5 on to the 6th here in Philadelphia. Still no score. Blue Cross Philly of the week is probably standing on second base right now. Odubel is putting the month of May in his rearview mirror and steering his way toward an exceptionally productive June. Through the first 6 days of the month, Herrera compiled 12 hits, all of the extra base hit variety, including 10 doubles, already besting his career high in a month. Pitchers had his number early in the season, but if you mess with El Torito, you get the horns. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, it is Irish Heritage Night, and the Philly Fanatic getting involved.
Really disappointed though that Murph ain't down there. I mean, come on, Murph.
I think Murph has an outfit like that. He's been to Ireland.
What, an outfit like the Fanatics?
Yeah.
Sure he does.
You got one of those capes, Murph, like that?
I'd have to check my closet to see if I still have it. But
Fanatic might have taken mine, actually. It looks vaguely familiar.
I think that vest would fit you.
Yeah.
We begin the top of the 6th inning. Here's Pedroia, who could have been up with runners on 1st and 3rd in the 5th inning. How about that number, though? 28 runners have been thrown out going for an extra base, the most in Major League Baseball.
Does that count Jackie Bradley last night,
yes.
the Benintendi?
Yep.
Those are considered going for an extra base?
Yes. Fly ball to right field as Altair goes back on it. Oh, you mean from on the sacrifice fly?
No, like Benintendi was on first base, the ball hit.
Oh, I believe yes. I believe that it does. I believe that it does. So being overly aggressive.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's tough to argue, though. I mean, they're in 2nd place. They're creeping up on the Yankees.
Well, the other thought is that if you err on the side of aggressiveness, there may be a lot more success than failure.
Yeah, that's the thing. How many extra bases have they taken where most teams wouldn't think about trying to take the extra base?
Breaking ball, and it's 1-1 to Bogarts.
I just think, with the way they can hit, I think there has to be a fine line of aggressiveness and, let this guy swing the bat. I mean, you put David Ortiz in the middle of that lineup and you overly aggressive run into an out when he's coming up. Probably not wise.
He probably wouldn't be happy either.
I don't think he would, but.
Swing and a miss. Pivetta now with 7 strikeouts tonight.
And it's that fastball that these guys just don't seem to be able to pick up. I mean, you have, really good fastball hitters in there. I mean, you get 2 strikes on Bogarts. He struck him out the last time with that slider. And this time it's just a fastball down the middle, knee high, and throws it by him.
Well, the 7 strikeouts, the most for Pivetta since he's put on a major league uniform. He had 11 strikeouts this year down in the minor leagues. And Moreland takes strike 1.
Jim Wolf showing off the little cannon.
Kept himself in good shape.
Most of us have.
That's right. If only we were umpires.
But I mean, you see that right there, the way he even took that pitch. It's like it surprised him. Like I'm setting off speed on every pitch, and he's not getting it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Moreland. Got him. Breaking ball. 8 strikeouts for Nick Pivetta. How about this coming of age night against this Red Sox lineup? He has allowed 3 hits through 6, 8 strikeouts for Pivetta, and he has matched Chris Sale on a night when you need to match Chris Sale. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. minor league report. Citizens Bank, the official bank of the Phils. Visit citizensbank.com. Well, Lehigh Valley lost to Buffalo 4-0 last night. Pedro Flormon had a double and a walk. Reading defeated Bowie 5-4, and Lakewood defeated Del Mar for 14-1. Mickey Moniak had his first 4-hit game of the year. Lehigh Valley is trailing Buffalo tonight 4-2. Jorge Alfaro's hit his 5th home run, a 2-run shot. Alfaro, Reese Hoskins, Cameron Perkins, Tom Eshelman, and Pedro Beato are all leading in the voting for the All-Star game down in AAA. The overall leader among position players in the International League is Hoskins, and the overall leader among pitchers is Thomas Eshelman. Good news.
They vote now for the minor league All-Stars?
Yeah, I think they're getting the fans ready for the big leagues. I didn't know that they voted. Thought it was all voted on by the coaches and the managers.
Yeah, I think that's how it was when I was playing.
Up high, 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? No.
Right down the middle. Ball 2.
3-2. Here's Odubel. And Pivetta taps it back to the box. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Find your favorite model today. Toyota, let's go places. By McDonald's, introducing the new signature crafted recipes at McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by your local Chevrolet dealers. Odubel Herrera is 0 for 2. Odubel did not like that call.
I don't think he was a fan. No.
Out to left field. Two outs. And Howie Kendrick is coming up. Boy, Sal has thrown 72 pitches so far. And he has had some rather quick innings.
Yeah. Yeah. If this thing continues going, he might go 10. 11. What if the Phillies score? We can end this game before dark. No bottom of the ninth. Sure, that's not what you wanted to hear.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but that's usually the.
Yeah, that's.
You know, we're having a really quick game. Next thing you know, it's
El Jinxo.
Next thing you know, it's a 15th inning, and it's 1:15 in the morning.
Boy, it really slowed up then.
Yeah. We've been there.
Way inside, 3-0. Sal is trying to win his 8th consecutive game. He's 7-0. 8th consecutive decision, I should say. 7-0 in his last 8 games. And ball 4. He is not happy that he's just issued his first walk of the night. Sunday, July 9th, when the Phillies take on the Padres. That is a 1:35 first pitch. And then hers will sponsor the kids retro pullover jacket. That's free to children 14 and under. Go to Phillies.com for more information and to order your tickets.
It's a nice looking pullover.
It sure is. Gave out one last year too. Not that one, but a different style. And it was one of the more popular items of the year. just what you talked about before. Altair gets something soft again to start the AB.
Yeah, and that's such a tough thing when a guy's throwing in the mid to upper 90s is to set on a breaking ball first pitch. He might have found a flaw. Not a good move, unless that was his B move.
You know what I have to say? I don't think I can recall whether he has a good move or not.
Get a lot of opportunities to find out.
A bouncer over the head of Mickey Morandini. I don't think Mickey could have made that play even if he had a glove in his hand.
Not even in his heyday.
Plus, with his cranky hip, you know, he wouldn't be able to elevate. No balls, 2 strikes.
You ever seen a catcher slide that far?
He was moving. I guess, you know, to me, Sal is the guy. He commands that slider, but if it's erratic at all, I mean, you got to be on your toes if you're a catcher.
Well, watch Sandy Leon right here.
It was almost as if he was on a plastic pad. Out to right center field. Jackie Bradley will make the catch, and Howie Kendrick is left on the base paths. No runs, no hits, 1 man left. We'll move to the 7th inning. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary on Irish Heritage Night. We'll go to the top of the 7th inning, and both teams have struggled with their offense because both pitchers have been fantastic. Sal, 9 strikeouts over 6 innings. Pivetta, 8 strikeouts over 6 innings. Tonight is the first time Pivetta has gone past the 5th in a major league game, and now he begins the 7th inning with 92 pitches. And he will face Andrew Benintendi, who is 0 for 1 with a walk. He starts him off with a fastball for a strike, 0-1, and that's basically been the storyline tonight.
They're not picking it up. I mean, these guys came into this game swinging the bats really well, and the swings they're having on his fastball have been unbelievably poor. There's a good changeup right there. get your attention.
Got him. Foul tip, and that's 9 strikeouts for Nick Pivetta. So he has now matched Sale, each with 9 strikeouts in tonight's game. Also will give us an opportunity to give you our Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. Now before you give the answer, let's count how many names you wrote down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the final one you wrote down, the 6th, turned out to be the correct answer.
Well, you said he was a Red Sox. They only got 12, right?
That's exactly right. You were rolling through. There's Jackie Bradley singles. You want to tell everybody who your answer is?
David Price.
David Price is correct. 2013 Rays, 2014 Tigers, 15 Blue Jays, and last year the Red Sox. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of the Phillies prize pack.
He became the modern day David Cone. Remember, David Cone was always a hired gun for a team getting ready to get in the postseason.
Yeah. David Cone was a very good pitcher.
You ain't kidding. Yeah, that was always fun, going there and getting Doc and Cone, and good times.
Cone had 8 years in the postseason. 21 games, 18 starts. 88 with the Mets, 92 with the Blue Jays, 95 and then beyond with the Yankees. But he's one of those guys that could always pitch in the big game. Another toss over to first. Bradley is back. Neshek is starting to warm up in the bullpen. Good changeup.
Really good. And that's what happens when you command your fastball and you throw it often. Is, you know, these guys understand, you know, we're behind on his fastball. We're not seeing it. So what do? You start jumping out to get it, and now you're in front of the changeup. Here you see the circle change, the 3 fingers on the laces, and how it just runs away from Sandoval. Again, that's all due to the fastball command that he's had. That one was about.
Only the second inning, he threw more than 20 pitches. He threw 24, 19 in the 5th. Fly ball right center field. Odubel should close and does, and he makes the catch for the second out. You wonder what that conversation was about that Knapp just had with Pivetta.
Oh, 0-2. 3 good pitches. I don't.
Pivetta back in the second inning, loaded up the bases, but then was able to get Chris Sale on a bouncer up the middle. Howie Kendrick saved the inning by making a diving play to then throw Sale out. Leon was trying to score in the 5th inning, but Daniel Nava threw him out after a base hit by Mookie Betts. So the Red Sox have had some chances. Phillies defense, though, has stood tall.
That's another fastball in that a Red Sox hitter couldn't pull the trigger on. That was a good swing on a fastball right there. That's better. For your Red Sox, I mean, that's one that they timed up pretty good. Leon did. Well, throw him a changeup or a breaking ball.
Definitely don't deliver the fastball in the same spot.
No, don't get away with it many times down the middle. You don't want to go to that well too often.
A little cat and mouse right now between Pivetta and Leon, with Sal on deck. Trying to come inside. Well, he does throw the breaking ball, the slider. But this is where you have to be smart, right? When you're a catcher calling the signs. Scoreless game, pitchers on deck. He's at 105 pitches, so this is, his last inning.
Yeah.
So you can expend some more pitches if you happen to lose Leon to a walk or whatever. But you don't want to give him anything where he can turn on it and launch it.
Yeah, and these are good pitches, though. These are hard pitches to keep fair. Just because of his fastball. They have to start a little earlier, and you see these two pitches here, out in front, fouling them off. Now you could go fastball down and away.
1-2 pitch coming. Opposite way, caught by Maikel Franco. 7 scoreless innings for Nick Pivetta. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. It's time to stretch for Pivetta. It's his best start of his young major league career. Deliveries of the game, and we got 2 pitchers that are just mowing them down here tonight. 1 strikeout after another for Pivetta and Sal. It's been pretty impressive to watch, John.
It's very impressive, and both guys doing it different ways, and opposite ways, really. Pivetta with the fastball, not getting a lot of good swings from those Red Sox hitters on that fastball, and Chris Sale, fastball up, but a lot of sliders right there to Maikel Franco, a fastball up to Nava, but Pivetta's matching him pitch for pitch with that great fastball, mixing in enough off-speed pitch to keep him off bounds. Both pitchers dominant in this game tonight, and those are our W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
Well, he gets congratulated by not only Bob McClure, but also by Andrew Knapp. The 9 strikeouts for Pivetta are the most by a starting pitcher versus the Red Sox since Edwin Jackson in September of last year, who had 11 strikeouts. Wow. So the most this year. And as we would expect, the Phillies will go to their bullpen in the 8th inning, but let's see if they can get a run against Chris Sale here in the bottom of the 7th. Tommy Joseph has 3 hits in 2 games against Chris Sale. And he starts him off with a breaking ball. Fly ball center field. Bradley reels it in. The 4th annual Star Wars Night benefiting Stand Up to Cancer will be this Wednesday, June 21st, when the Phillies take on the St. Louis Cardinals. That's 7:05 first pitch. Lots of Star Wars activities here at the ballpark. Now, fans who purchase tickets through the theme night page receive a limited edition Philly Fanatic X-Wing Fighter Pilot bobblehead. Go to Phillies.com/theme nights for information and to order. Franco fouls the pitch back. It's 0-1. You got any questions about Star Wars nights coming up?
Yeah, I just, people have trouble believing that I
have never seen
a Star Wars movie.
Well, are you a big movie buff? Do you watch movies? All right, well, that's part of
the classics. Dumb and Dumber.
Right. The Big Lebowski.
No, I never saw that.
Okay. Stripes.
No. Yeah, I've seen Stripes.
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack, of course. Yeah. But honestly, I don't have any desire to sit anywhere for 2.5 hours where I might not like something.
I think you'll like some of them. Some of them, were not great. The original Star Wars you'd like. Empire Strikes Back you'd like.
How would I like them? Like, what makes you look at me and say yes? all the time, how long we've known each other, that you would think, he'd like that Star Wars.
The dry comedy of Han Solo, you really like that? No?
I don't know. I can't see it, but again,
Did you get a lot of feedback on the fact that you didn't watch any Star Wars movies?
Oh yeah.
Bounce to second base. Dustin Pedroia. 2 outs.
I just don't understand how like people who don't know me can say, "Oh, how can you not?"
I have no issue with you not having seen the Star Wars movies. I have seen them. I can't say I've seen them a million times. So I'm okay with it.
But you know me.
Mm-hmm. I do think the classics, though. I do see you watching them.
No.
So we got a miss by
I like
Nava.
comedy.
Yeah.
And my favorite movie of all time was the first movie I ever saw in a theater.
Porky's?
Sound of Music. Love the Sound of Music.
Now that is that's a comedy.
That's very, very funny movie. No, that's a great movie. I love that movie.
Sound of Music.
I'm sensitive. I have feelings.
That one will make you sensitive.
Just doesn't come out much, but I really do have feelings.
Did you discuss that in the podcast today?
No, never made it. I would be afraid if I had to mention the Sound of Music, I'd get too emotional and start tearing up.
0-2 to Nava. And Nava fouls it. But you did talk about being sensitive and emotional in your podcast, right?
Yeah, yeah. Over certain things. Phillies win might make me break into some tears too today.
Let us see if Daniel Nava's bat is alive with the Sound of Music.
Just some raindrops on roses I'd take right now.
0-2 pitch. And it's fouled back to the sweet level. To Daniel Nava. This will be the 93rd pitch of the night for Sal. Swing and a miss. 96 miles an hour, and that is 10 strikeouts for Chris Sale. First strikeout since the 5th, but we'll go to the 8th inning. Still locked in a 0-0 game. brought to you by your local Ford store. Check out every new Ford car, truck, and SUV crossover at buyfordnow.com today. Some of the performers that have participated in our Irish Heritage celebration here at Citizens Bank Park. Getting a chance to try to dance with the Fanatic. They were doing just fine. The Fanatic, well, not so much.
He butchered that one up pretty good.
And Pat Neshek will start the 8th.
Look at that.
He doesn't know if it's a square dance or they're doing some Irish dancing.
There he's going.
Well, here's Neshek to face Chris Sale. It's a shame that Nick Pivetta does not get a victory to back up the line that he put together tonight, but he was outstanding. As Sale hits it down the left field line, Nava on the run. It's over his head. A one hop off the wall. Nava's throw to second base, not in time as Sale goes in aggressively with a leadoff double. Look at him. He's looking out to the bullpen.
Oh, yeah.
All his bullpen mates are standing up.
That might be the most emotion he's ever shown on a baseball field right there.
That is his first extra base hit. It's only his 3rd hit overall as a big leaguer. And he's been in the American League his whole career.
Well, you mentioned it, his first at bat. You know, it's not a bad swing. Like I say, he's not going to do anything to embarrass himself if he can help it. And I mean, besides the wide, he took a really wide turn around first, but I mean, a great slide into second. I mean, let's compare his slide into second to Tommy Joseph's yesterday.
Have a seat. All right, so now Mookie Betts.
Wow.
He's trying to punch the ball the other way.
Yeah, he was trying to. I mean, this could be interesting here with you know, a guy at second base who hasn't run the bases very much. You wonder, you know, can the Phillies, you know, maybe on a hard hit ball to Howie, will he get a great jump off second? Will he get a good secondary lead?
The ball had it.
That hit him.
Double bounce.
2 different places.
Yeah.
Flexing that wrist and hit him in the forearm. You wonder if his forearm tightened up a little.
That was the first hit by a Red Sox pitcher since August 25th of last year.
Stump the fan. Who was that? I'm gonna go with Rick Porcello.
Nice going, big boy.
North Jersey boy.
Yep. Check swing.
Tell you what, either Mookie Betts is giving himself up to get Chris Sale to third base by trying to hit something the other way, or he ain't seeing the ball at all. Neshek.
Opposite way. Altair going back, makes the catch. Tagging from second is Sale. The throw is cut off by Galvis. So Mookie Betts gets the runner over. And now Pedroia will get a chance.
Yeah, watch this though, because I think Freddie might have thought he left early. He signaled into the bench. Did you see anything? And Larry Bowl was pointing, you know, check it, check it. Nope, he's good.
Yep.
Tell you what, that's really good base running.
So now Dustin Pedroia who is 0 for 3. He's grounded out. He's struck out. He's flied out to right field. A scoreless game here in the top of the 8th inning.
How about that at bat by Mookie Betts? Even with 2 strikes, doing everything he can to try to get Chris Sale to third base, knowing that 1 run might do it.
And now the infield is in for the Phils.
Now you got to try to make Pedroia get himself out with 2 strikes, but you still have to be careful with bouncing a ball past Andrew Knapp. Here's where Pedroia can get that outside pitch and just shoot it to right field.
Got him. That's a big time pitch right there by Neshek. 10 strikeouts for Phillies pitching, 9 for Pivetta, now the 1 for Neshek. And there are 2 outs with a runner at third.
Like a slider that backed up on Pedroia. I think it had slider spin, but it backed up on him like a 2-seam fastball.
Now Bogarts, 5th in the league in hits. He's been very consistent since the 1st of May. His average is at .329. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Lance Barrett, the first base umpire.
Whatever the definition of a check swing, that was one, which there is none, right?
I don't think there is one.
It's amazing.
1 ball, 1 strike. Popped him up. Tommy Joseph near the first base line, makes the catch, and Sal's leadoff double goes by the boards. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left in scoring position. Well, this has been a very energetic game for the Phils. Bogarts pops it up. He knew it. And Pat Neshek, his reaction. That's right. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th.
Presented by T-Mobile, I feel like it started off every night this way, but the latest injury news for the New York Mets is particularly bad. The team announced today that Neil Walker has a left hamstring tear, and Matt Harvey has a stretch fracture in his right shoulder. Both are supposed to miss significant time. In addition, they also said that Noah Syndergaard, who they thought maybe could start throwing soon, he's currently on the disabled list, will not start throwing a baseball for 4 more weeks. So the triple play for the New York Mets in terms of injury news, it just keeps up for them. The Chicago White Sox, a little bit better news. Their designated hitter, Matt Davidson, he remains hot. How about another home run today against the Orioles? It is the 4th straight game that Davidson has hit a home run. 3 solo shots in those games and 1 grand slam. He has 14 home runs now on the season for the Chicago White Sox. They won that game 5-2, guys.
Well, that's amazing about the Mets, isn't it? The amount of injuries that they've sustained. I mean, everybody has injuries, but
yeah,
it's depleting them on so many levels.
And it always seems like it's Terry Collins' fault.
Saw Terry when we were in Atlanta. They had an off day there.
I love Terry.
Freddie Galvis sends one to right center field. Jackie Bradley waits for it and makes the catch. And 1 out here in the 8th inning.
Need Freddie to get back to that line drive swing. That's 3rd ball he's hitting the air.
Well, Chris Sale, most innings per game. He's averaging 7. Scherzer at 7.1. You know, when the Phillies had that great rotation for a couple of years, you know, that's where they were. They were around 6 2/3 or 7 innings on average. As Nava takes a strike on a breaking ball. Excuse me, Napa, I should say.
Another classic. I forgot Tommy Boy. I love Tommy Boy. It's a classic. Blazing Saddle. Another classic.
Oh, that's a classic. Line drive and base hit by Nat. He may have broken his bat, but he's aboard with a 1-out single. And Ty Kelly is going to pinch hit. Neris in the bullpen.
Hope he comes in for a save.
Kelly shows bunt. Ball is in the dirt. 1-0.
And Knapp can run a little bit.
He can.
For
young legs.
I want to say for a catcher, but I mean,
I think part of it too is that he's played other positions he hasn't always caught, so that kind of preserves it a little bit too. Kelly, foul tip.
About that 8th inning, 100th pitch, 97.
I do believe he wanted that pitch. Well, he has an incredible ratio. He's only walked 18 batters this year, so you expect him to be around the strike zone. And a line drive down the left field line. That's in for an extra base hit. Benintendi trying to cut it off as it goes to the corner. They're waving that home. He's around third, heading for the plate. Sandoval's throw too high, and the Phils take the lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ty Kelly off the bench with an RBI double.
Phillies fans rejoicing, Red Sox fans in shock. Wait, Andrew Knapp and Ty Kelly. Yes, indeed. It's Irish night. Ty Kelly, let's go. Tell you what, a great send too by that man right there, Juan Samuel. But here's where the Red Sox had the issue right here. with Knapp running. Benintendi gets him on the corner. Look, he misses Bogarts. He misses Pedroia. The longer throw that Pedro Sandoval had to get gave him that much time. No hesitation with Juan Samuel. Knapp didn't have to break stride one bit. The missed cutoff man. The reason why the Phillies now are on board, 1-0.
Hasn't been a lot to be excited about with this ball club in recent games. They've lost 8 straight, but that was a moment right there. And now Odubel Herrera with a runner at second base and 1 man down. Phillies lead it 1-0. And Odubel takes strike 1.
He hasn't been real happy with that first pitch fastball in, has he?
Keeps getting it too.
I mean, the law of averages, you would think, okay, maybe this one's going to be a ball. Well, let's add on.
0-2. 99. Sale's got a little adrenaline rush
there was
going.
some anger in that pitch right there by Chris Sale. And most guys, when they throw a ball with anger, they'll throw it who knows where. He paints. Irish Heritage Night. Ty Kelly, huh?
Little luck of the Irish.
Yeah, we found one Irish guy that works on Irish. Oh, hey, Murph. Hey.
Look out, Sammy.
Sammy went from coach of the year to on the DL.
He wants to get Odubel's attention, I think.
Did Odubel have both feet on the ground when he swung at that one?
It looked like he did jump a little bit.
Yeah. He's done that before.
And he pulls it to right field. Betts coming on, makes the catch. And Kelly gets back to second. He moved his body, it looked like, to take that swing. Well, Hector Neris, we mentioned, was warming up. And now he's warming up to try to pick up a save.
Still like to get one more.
Absolutely. Do you believe everybody's okay on that line drive into the crowd? So. More than 30,000 on hand here tonight. Inside, 1-2. Kendrick sends it down the right field line. Betts on the run toward foul territory, reaches out and makes the catch. Well, I know we mentioned that they have 47 errors this year, which is second most in Major League Baseball, but they have played some defense. Ty Kelly with a clutch base hit to the corner. That scores Andrew Knapp, and that gives the Phils a 1-0 lead as we now go to the top of the 9th inning. Double by Ty Kelly. They're half of the 8th inning. And now we go to the top of the 9th inning. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Hector Neris in his 29th game, 5 saves and 6 opportunities. The Phillies last won a game on the 6th of June against the Atlanta Braves. And the first pitch to Mitch Moreland is outside. It's 1-0.
We were talking about this back in our room, and Larry Anderson said this is the night. Phil's win.
He did feel it, didn't he?
He did. And when Larry, you never know what that feeling could be.
1-1. Moreland takes on the inner half. Neris' last save was on the 4th of June. He doesn't have many. He's had a little problem closing some games from time to time. That split has been left up in the zone. Swing and a miss. 1-2. That split was left up, but it was off the plate.
And the balance, Mitch Moreland looked like he was looking in to pull. His balance was off, and that's why he got that swing and miss.
Tapper, first base side. It'll stay fair. 1 out. And here comes Benintendi. Chris Sale has been fantastic tonight. But the fact that Nick Pivetta was so good.
So good, and he had 2 instances where his defense really helped him, Kendrick and Nava.
The ball got away. It's 1-0. The ball didn't even get to the plate.
Came up a tad short with that split finger.
Threw it a fastball this time. But it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
The 2 looked like a running 2-seamer that just ran away from the barrel of the bat of Benintendi.
And comes back with a split.
I think I'm going back to the old split.
Got him. He went upstairs with it. I don't know if he meant to do it. 2 outs. Coming up after the ballgame, Rob Ellis and Ricky Vitalico are going to talk about the outstanding outing of Nick Pivetta and the matchup against Chris Sale. The Phils try to finish up this game and end an 8-game losing streak. Hopefully they can talk about that. That's coming up on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live.
That last pitch to Benintendi, Hector quick pitched him. That's how he got that swing and miss.
Jackie Bradley takes a little low. One ball, no strikes. Eight long days for Pete Macadam. Make decisions. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. As a manager, you got to follow your gut. He decided to send Ty Kelly up to pinch hit, and Kelly came through. And then you lean on the decision that Juan Samuel made. As Hector quick pitches again, and it's 2-2. Chris Sale has not lost since April 27th. against the Yankees. Phillies have not won in 8 long days. The 2-2 pitch coming to Jackie Bradley Jr. Little tapper up the first base line, foul. It hit Bradley.
What we were kind of worried about the fans and being overshadowed by the Red Sox fan, but they're in full force right now.
They sure are. Two balls, 2 strikes. And a split in the dirt, 3-2. More than 30,000 on their feet here at Citizens Bank Park. The 3-2. Another foul ball by Bradley. He's not going down quietly.
I think that boiler's churning right there for Pete.
8 straight games the Phillies have lost. The 3-2. Up high, ball 4. And it's going to be churning a little bit more.
Yeah, especially with the way Hector's been bouncing a split. Jackie Bradley's a plus runner. So Ruben Amaro right there is going over times for Hector Neris. Times to home plate. I think if you can pick out a split finger, if you think Hector's going to throw a split finger, you got to go.
Andrew Napa has thrown out 27% of the runners trying to steal. Not a lot of opportunities. And Pablo Sandoval, the hitter, out in front of an off-speed pitch. Again. 0-2.
I think it's a split.
Got to throw it again,
I think
right?
Bradley's running.
Well, we'll do it again. 30,729. The final of 4 games between the Phils and the Red Sox. Neris trying to get the last out with Bradley at first, and the Phils up 1-0. The Red Sox won the first 2 games in extra innings. Won last night's game rather easily. And now the 0-2 pitch will have to wait as Bradley draws the throw over. Not a bad idea. Maybe he got a little jumpy.
Yeah, maybe, but if Sandoval don't get a hit, Jackie Bradley ain't scoring.
Well, that's true. Everybody seems to be set. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. The 8-game losing streak is over. And the Phillies on Ty Kelly's pinch hit double have defeated Chris Sale and the Red Sox 1-0. And finally the Phillies can celebrate a victory as they take the final game of this 4-game home and home with the Boston Red Sox. Well, tonight was a night of strikeouts from a pitching standpoint. The Phil staff had 12. Chris Sale, he finished with 10. And the outing by Nick Pivetta set up the game-winning hit by Ty Kelly because he kept this game close. But let's face it, the Phillies defense really did a heck of a job tonight too, making sure this game was scoreless going to the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, that ball Chris Sale hits, gets past Howie Kendrick, gets at least 2. It's 2 runs, basically putting the game out of reach the way Sale was pitching. But unbelievable defensive performances in our Toyota Turning Point. The pinch hitter on Irish Heritage Night, Ty Kelly with the double, the great cut of the bases by Andrew Knapp. The missed relay throw from Andrew Benintendi. Knapp scores, and that's it. 1-0 victory for the Vikings.
And Ty Kelly is down on the field with Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Yeah, here with Ty Kelly. And, well, you know what? Sometimes in baseball you get one chance to make a difference in a game. You got your one chance tonight. As you approach that at bat, tell us a little bit about, well, hold on one sec. Sorry.
That's okay.
Tell me how you're approaching that, knowing that, you know, offense had been hard to come by.
You know, I went up there confident. It's a situation where your expectations are just to try to have a good at bat, try to hit a ball hard somewhere. And I mean, the way I look at it going up, there's only positive things that can happen. You know, I'm someone that can see pitches and just hit a line drive somewhere. And luckily, he hung a curveball, and I kept it fair.
You know, you got the feeling tonight that as you watch this game that offense was going to be tough to come by. Chris Sale was so good, but so was Nick. For you guys, you sit there and you watch a young guy perform like that and keep your team in a ball game. What are your thoughts as you watch Nick Pivetta?
I mean, he did an amazing job. I talked to him yesterday. I don't want to take all the credit, but I talked to him and said, you know, you've got a great fastball. Just use it as much as you can. Get deep into the game. And I mean, I hope that he was listening to me, and you know, I have some credit there, but. I mean, he went out and did just that. He threw his fastball for strikes, and you know, and they weren't able to hit too many balls hard.
Wins have been tough to come by, obviously, 8 straight, but you break out of it tonight. You get the win in front of a big crowd, a lot of energy in the ballpark tonight. How do you build on this as a team?
I mean, we've been in every game. You know, we lost two walk-offs to Boston in Boston. So I mean, we're in every game. We're right there. It just, you know, takes a big hit sometimes, and. You know, lucky enough, it was me tonight, and it was us on top instead of them getting the late game hit.
Well, way to go, Ty. Congratulations. Way to get the win. Guys, let's send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. It was a great way to finish off this 4-game series against the Red Sox. He's right. The Phillies were in the first 2, but tonight they had to lean on Nick Pivetta, who really had an excellent fastball going.
He had a great fastball, used his breaking stuff enough, but that fastball was just electric. And so many bad swings or late swings by the Boston Red Sox hitters tell you that it was a lot harder than they thought he threw, and he must have been hiding it well because they're a great fastball hitting team. Pivetta, though, challenged him with the fastball, and tonight he beat that offense.
Well, he is our Chevrolet player of the game for his efforts tonight. He does not get the win, but the Phillies do. They end an 8-game losing streak, and Hector Neris able to get Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval was overmatched by that split that Neris was firing his way. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.